Welcome back to the MMA Plug presented to you by Mile High Sports in partnership with PunchDrunkGamer.com. I'm Jordan Kurtz here. I am joined with a special guest. I'm with Aysia Cortez, who's going to be fighting on the XFC 54 Ascension card going down on April 25th. Asia, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's basically like an early summer day out here in Denver. We've
Yeah.
had mid 80s in mid-March, which is kind of unheard of. So I'm enjoying it. It's not South Florida warm, but
Yeah.
it's definitely pretty nice out there. Real quick
Actually,
before we
it's
get
been
into the
chilly though today. It's actually
Oh,
been a little chilly today in South Florida. It's
it's
like
been cold down
66,
there?
a little bit. I had to put like a little light jacket on. I was like, "What is this? Why am I cold? What's going on?"
Yeah, we might actually be warmer here than down there, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we get too far into the thick of things, where can people follow you?
I'm sorry, say this again.
Where can people follow you? Like, what's your Instagram? Where
Oh,
can people give you follow?
so I have my Instagram. It's just Asia, Aysia underscore the Savage. And that's honestly what I use the most. I have TikTok, but honestly, that's just kind of where I find food and places to go. But yeah, just Instagram, Asia underscore the Savage.
Okay, the Savage, where's that come from? Like, what's the origin of the nickname?
Yeah, so actually Savage comes from like my high school days. A lot of people like I was always like into combat sports like wrestling and everything. And one of my friends, they're like, "Oh, Asia the Savage," because my name used to just in Instagram it was Asia underscore Cortez, just something super simple. Oh, you're Savage. Oh, you're Savage. I was like, "Oh, I like that." But yeah, you're the Savage. And so I kind of just stuck with it since high school.
Okay, so did you wrestle in high school?
Yeah, I did. I wrestled in high school and college.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big deal out in California, pretty big scene.
Yeah. Yep. It is. It's really big. It's tough competition, but it was such a great experience to be part of.
So let's just run it back then. What got you into it? Like, when did you start? Was that your very first combat sport, or was that just kind of
Um,
what parlayed it?
no, it was my parents actually have a gym out in California.
Okay,
uh, a martial arts gym Lathrop, California. So shout out to them for Cortez Full Circle, you know. But yeah, I started that when I was younger. So I started with the traditional martial arts like karate, like Kenpo karate, and then later on I had went to jujitsu. And then from jujitsu, I would watch my brothers wrestle in high school, and then the coach saw me. They had wrestling. Oh, why don't you kind of like hop in? And then I kind of just started just like in high school. Like I would roll around here and there. And I was like, no, I don't really like wrestling. I'll stick with my jujitsu. And then they're like, just kind of come in. So I would go in and just kind of wrestle around with them. But I didn't really start wrestling until really high school. But it kind of started middle school, I would say.
okay.
But yeah, it was cool.
Okay, so that's a whole different element, I guess, that people are getting to know
Yeah.
about you. Lifelong martial artist with a whole family that's running along with it. I mean, so that's pretty much that's a major support system that you have, from back home to everybody working with you down there in South Florida now. So like, how did that transition happen?
So when I went to college, so I guess I'll just start from the beginning. So like obviously I was going through high school and I was wrestling. I had just came back from Fargo. I then just had like there was an opportunity presented to me for like an MMA fight. I didn't know at the time it was Bellator. It was
Okay.
a amateur Bellator match, and they had reached out to my dad. Hey, do you have any fighters? And he was, oh, I mean, I have my daughter. She just turned 18. I just came back from nationals, and he kind of just tells me, hey, Asia, do you want to fight? I said, yeah, sure, I guess so. And then I kind of just hopped in there, not knowing it was like Bellator at the time. I was like, whoa, and kind of just figured it out later on. And from there, I was like, wow, that kind of like is what sparked my interest into MMA. And from there, I was like, you know what? But like, I want to get more of a wrestling background. Let me go to school. Let me finish out school. Let me wrestle through college. And then from there, I'll pursue MMA once I'm done. And that's kind of what happened. I graduated from Life University in Marietta, Georgia. After that, it was during 2020 is when I graduated. So it was like very limited options on where to go and where to live just because everything was up in the air and it was just crazy during those times, you know? And so I was like, I guess I'll go to back to California. And then I was with my ex at the time, and he was like, oh, well, he's from South Florida. He's, oh, ATT's in Florida. I was like, okay, like, yeah, let's go down to Florida. And that's kind of like what opened it up was going to ATT and just training there ever since.
Okay. So just
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
got baptized by fire and one thing led
Yeah.
to another
Yep.
and there you are with one of the biggest women's teams in the world.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, okay. So what's that like having the connections to some of the people out there like your Bia Mosquitas of the world who just had a big win on the UFC card to Dakota Cheva of the PFL world champion to major stars out there in their own respects like your Paige Van Zants and whatnot of the world. Like what's that
Mhm.
being like, just in the regular world of working with them on a regular basis?
Oh, it's so amazing. Like you don't like obviously when you see them from the outside, you're like, wow, like they're so inspirational. And then you go in and it's just you see them on a daily basis, and it's such an experience, such a blessing to be able to be their teammates, to be able to train with them at such a high level. I'm obviously kind of just starting my pro career, and for me to be able to train with such high level is just it's amazing, and for their knowledge to support me like, Asia, you got to work on this, Asia, you got to do this, like just to get the experience aspect from them. It's a blessing. I love having them as my teammates, as my friends. Dakota's my best friend. We hang out all the time, so just getting her experience overall is just amazing, especially Bia. She's the one that was able to help me get this fight, so like shout out to Bia too.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah.
Does being around them kind of help in a way? I mean, it's by proxy because it's who they are or like what they're doing, but does that help kind of prepare you for some of these big moments, just being that you're getting to kind of have, I guess, a taste of all of that by proxy of them?
Yeah, like it gives me just some type of confidence, like, hey, I'm hanging with like the highest level athletes of women, and just being able to just train with them and just kind of just being able to train with them just kind of gives me that little confidence like, hey, I'm putting in the work. I'm training with the top athletes over here, and I know like the hard work is going to come to fruition, and just training with them in and out. It's great. It gives me the experience that I need. Obviously, it's not the easiest room to be in just because we have high level people and it's hard rounds, but those are the rounds that help sharpen me, like we're iron sharpens iron. So we're all sharpening each other, and it's a great room to be a part of.
Certainly. Well, that's a great transition piece to talk about matchup here, being that your opponent, Kayla Stricker, she does also have a lot of experience. She's fought UFC vets in the past and whatnot, through
Mhm.
her amateur career and everything. And so, does that give you a lot of confidence going in there with somebody who has the experience that she does too? Just being that what you just said pretty much sums it up pretty well. But
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot of looks throughout the gym, like I said, I know Kayla is going to come in strong. I know she is an all-around fighter. She has great experience. I expect it to be a great fight, but yeah, like I said, I train with high level people, and I get different feels all the time. So I think that confidence, it gives me a certain confidence, and I will never overestimate anybody, underestimate anybody, because I know she's gonna come in hard, and I'm hoping she does. Like we want a good fight, and that's just I'll be ready for it regardless.
now you guys are on opposite ends of the state. She's in northern Florida, you're in southern Florida, but have your paths ever crossed, or has there ever been a time where like that was a matchup that was floated on like the local to regional scene at some point, like earlier on in your career, or have you guys ever crossed
Um,
paths?
Not really. Like I heard of her name like maybe once before, but it was really soon, I think, on the promotion that I was trying to be on, and I was already going to be busy on this date, I think that it was. And so they offered, I think it was like literally the next week, if I'm remembering correctly, that they had given me her name. I was, oh yeah, like if it's a later date for sure, like there, no doubt, this will be a good challenge for me. I know she's got a lot of experience. I know she's been in there with tough people. So I think this is just a great challenge just to be able to just show what I've been working on. We're both kind of like it fairly similar pro fight, so like I think it's a good even match. So it's just like, hey, this is a good experience for me. This is a where I can test myself, seeing how where I'm going, and yeah.
Certainly. Now, this fight's going down in Iowa, being that, University of Iowa has a tremendous amount of wrestling history out there. You have your wrestling background. Then also just in terms of like, say, MMA history, you have Robbie Lawler, who's also on the XFC board, who he's got the Iowa roots and all of that. Like, does that hold any sort of significance to you?
Um, Not really, like I know my coach Steve Mako, he's one of my coaches that I work directly with. So I know if he was able to go, because I think it might be during the same I think it might be the same week as the US Open for wrestling in I think Vegas. So I'm not sure if he's able to go, but I was talking to him about his, oh, like it's in Iowa, you were in Iowa, blah blah, and he was really excited, but nothing too significant for me other than Mako was there.
Gotcha, gotcha. Totally understand there. Now, I just, got to throw out those sort of mentionables with the promotion with the show. It's pretty significant for them on that side of things. They've had from the business and they had a big acquisition with the Baroka side last year. This is kind of a big focus. You are one of, I believe it's only two announced cards or two announced fights so far on the cards. So that definitely seems like, you and Kayla are priorities right now. Does that mean anything to you?
No, I mean, yeah, like that. I appreciate it. Like just like another opportunity to be out there and for them to just give me another opportunity just to showcase what I've been working on these past couple months. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to just to be able to go step into the cage again and just like I said, just display what I've just been working hard on. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, okay. Well, now to a couple of fun ones here. So, what was your welcome to MMA moment?
Um. Let's see. I mean, I guess my just for my first fight. I don't know. Like I kind of just didn't expect. I didn't have really much expectation as to what I was getting myself into. Like I said, like I grew up with like martial arts and everything, but to just have my first fight, that was just like, whoa, that's like what sparked everything. Wow, this is awesome. Like I love this feeling that the adrenaline, the crowd, just being able to work on like just be able to just display what I've been working on. And it's like a mixture of things that I kind of grew up in. So that was just like the wow moment. Then when I moved to ATT, that was another thing. It's like, whoa, that's so and so, whoa, that's so and so. And I'm getting to train with them. And I said, wow, this like it was just all such of I don't know, just an amazing experience. You wouldn't even like couldn't even imagine just walking every day. Wow, that's like the champ in the UFC. That's the champ at the Bellator at the time, PFL PFL. We're at Ryzen, and just being able to see all these people on a daily basis, it's like whoa, that is amazing.
That's definitely something that I'm sure would keep you just having humbling moments or pinch me moments all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, in terms of when you're getting to these last few stages of these final weeks of a camp and starting to go through the cut, what is the hardest thing for you to give up?
Oh, I have such a sweet tooth.
Okay.
So it is a struggle because what me and my best friend, Dakota, we like to do is on the weekends, we're like, okay, where are we going? What cookie shop are we going to? What ice cream, what food place are we gonna try this weekend? So like having to dial down and to lock in and just be able to be strict on the diet, it's just like, man, okay, I guess. I mean, it's not that long, but like we're pushing through, and she's doing the cut. She's not really doing, she's helping keeping me accountable and she's kind of doing the cut when she's with me. She's like, okay, we're going to eat healthy. All right. We're going to do this. We're going to lock in type of thing. So it's amazing to have a best friend like that knows the sport and to be able to like, hey, we're going to lock in together and we're going to get you through this. So yeah, I'm such a sweet tooth. So cutting out the sweets was hard for me.
Accountability buddies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, sweet tooth. Let's touch on that. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean like candies? Does that mean baked goods? Like, is that
Yeah.
pastries, ice cream? Or all
Oh,
the
it's all of
above?
it. It's all of the above. It is all of
Okay.
the above. We were starting a cookie vlog at one point, and we were just like, okay, let's go at this cookie spot because South Florida has so many different places to eat at, and so we were like, okay, let's try this cookie spot. What do you rate this cookie? And so it was a lot of cookies, but we eat everything, candies, all of it.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I can't blame you there. I've got a terrible sweet tooth myself. It is the hardest thing to ever have to
Yeah,
like try to reel back in. Like I swear sugar is the most addictive thing on planet Earth.
yeah,
All right,
exactly.
one last major question for you here. Is there a song lyric, maybe a quote, a Bible passage, a movie scene, anything along those lines that's telling the tale of Asia for this camp and for this fight?
So there's like this new song that I just recently heard, and I honestly kind of want it to be like my walkout song, if that. It's called "Armor of God" by I think Creed Fire. But it just like pumps me up, just like putting on like the full armor of God and just being ready to fight, and that knowing that God goes before you and He has already won the battle. So we're not fighting for victory, but we're fighting from victory, and just being able to walk out to that just fires me up, and also for the non-believers, just being able to hear just certain lyrics, I'm hoping that will stir something in somebody's heart and just be like, oh, that's pretty cool, and kind of look into it, like what's this song kind of about, like that's kind of like what I did with my last one, where I had chose I Speak Jesus, but it was like a pumped up version one, and I was able to give a message about it and kind of like what it meant, or like what it meant to me, and just to be able to have a platform to be able to, even if it's just a song, and then interviews, just to be able to talk about God and how and Jesus and everything, and just be able to get people to open their eyes a little bit, soften their hearts, but yeah, like Armor of God is like something I've been listening to a lot, and it's a really good song.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, that's
uh,
something that I feel like it's unique to everybody. That's something
yeah,
that speaks directly to you that
yeah,
allows us to kind of get a little bit more insight of who the artist in that martial artist is.
yeah.
So just one last chance. Is there or anything that you want to get out there to friends, family, supporters, coaches, teammates, anybody out there?
Yeah, like I just want to always like give a shout out to my team in American Top Team, the best gym in the world. I want to give a shout out to them. Just be able to, for all the support that they're constantly pouring into me, the coaching, the one-on-ones. My family back in California, Cortez Full Circle, all the support that they give out to me. I'm actually going to be dedicating this fight to my grandpa. He had just passed away just a couple days ago,
Oh, I'm
and
sorry
so
for
this one's gonna be for him, and yeah, that's what I got.
Well, hopefully all things work out for you on that front there, and
Mhm.
all thoughts, prayers, and blessings to your family on that end. Now, Asia, one last time, where can people follow you?
Asia_the Savage on Instagram.
Make sure that you check the fight out, folks, and give her a follow along on social media there. That fight is going to be going down April 25th for XFC 54 Ascension. I'm Jordan Kurtz with the MMA Plug on Mile High Sports in partnership with PunchDrunkGamer.com, and we will see you after the break.